I found out from TMZ literally 2 hours ago that I have been subpoenaed. I'm not crying, you're crying. You were a bad person. Truly, that was that from the bottom of my heart. I think you and Ryan are bad people. There is nobody involved. Nobody has ever been involved in making me come to that conclusion.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds thought subpoenaing Candace Owens would save their fragile empire, but it exploded in their faces.
So they went with this headline. It says that Perez Hilton and me were subpoenaed, and then the ... working with Baldoni?
Candace exposed their staged PR stunt, revealing Blake leaked the subpoena to TMZ before it was even served. Turns out, Candace barely mentioned Blake in 5 years, and now the lies are unraveling.
That's what it's a fishing expedition because she wants to know now who's talking trash about her. Wake up, sweetheart. It's everyone. Everyone dislikes you.
You know Blake, the woman who built an entire personality around being America's perfect sweetheart, wife of the internet's so-called funny man, Ryan Reynolds. Don't worry, we'll get to his tragic comedy routine in a second. So Blake thought she could stomp into court, throw around big legal words, play the victim, and magically convince people she's being targeted by some grand conspiracy of internet trolls and YouTubers. And the universe, thankfully, had other plans.
Having him tell me, okay, my lawyer, oh, you're not involved in this lawsuit. Haha, joke's on you, Noah. Joke's on you, because now you've got to read by subpoena and figure out what happens next. I mean, this is crazy times, you guys. It's like we're living in a simulation.
Enter Candace Owens, probably the last person Blake wanted dragged into this circus. Because Candace isn't playing by their fake Hollywood script. The moment Blake's legal team tried to flex, Candace showed up with receipts so embarrassing they could give Ryan Reynolds' last 5 Deadpool promos a run for their money in the cringe department.
That Perez Hilton, Candace Owens, and Andy Senior have all been subpoenaed to turn over any and all communications with Justin Baldoni and Wayfarer parties.
Let's break it down, because the way Blake's so-called coordinated smear campaign story fell apart is comedy gold. First, Blake has been running around claiming that people like Justin Baldoni and Wayfarer Studios have teamed up to ruin her image. Yeah, sure, Blake, because your image was flawless before this mess, right? Never mind the fact that your awkward, robotic interviews and diva reputation were already becoming the internet's favorite roast material.
That we are not going to allow her to have access to every text message and email pertaining to her and Ryan Reynolds and Wayfarer Studios because she watched me live say, now that I'm interested in this story, which my interest began on January 25th.
Apparently, this whole situation started because Blake believes some dark internet alliance is plotting against her. According to her lawsuit, Justin Baldoni, the same Baldoni with a $400 million countersuit in play, is apparently working with every content creator, journalist, and random person with Wi-Fi to destroy Blake's career. And because accountability doesn't exist in Blake Lively's dictionary, instead of accepting that her public flops are self-inflicted, she blames the entire internet.
To the judge's order earlier this month, allowing Blake to take discovery in order to uncover the alleged lengths, if any, that Baldoni's side may have gone to in working with notable anti-Blake content creators as part of the alleged smear campaign.
But it doesn't stop there. Blake's dragging people left and right into this delusion. She hired Melissa Nathan and Jennifer Ayle for crisis PR, which already screams desperation. And just to spice up the absurdity, she's roped in some poor Reddit guy from Texas named Jared. Because obviously, every unpopular celebrity moment traces back to some internet stranger with a Reddit account, right? And here's where it gets hilarious. Blake's paranoia has reached such Olympic levels, she's demanding emails, texts, and documentation about herself, including conversations about her hair products. Yes, her actual hair products. Imagine being so obsessed with your own public image that you think random mentions of your shampoo are part of a smear campaign. It's giving delusion. It's giving celebrity breakdown. It's giving, I married Ryan Reynolds, so I clearly love bad decisions.
Obviously, she knows for a fact that we are not going to allow her to have access to every text message and email pertaining to her and Ryan Reynolds and Wayfarer Studios because she watched me live.
Speaking of bad decisions, Ryan Reynolds' involvement in this is peak comedy. Here's a guy who's made an entire brand out of pretending to be the internet's funny, relatable husband, while secretly pulling strings with TMZ to run PR cleanup for Blake's courtroom disaster. The man tweets jokes about aviation gin and Deadpool, but behind the scenes, his PR team's hitting up media outlets faster than he can sell another overpriced mobile plan. Honestly, watching Ryan try to spin this situation is more painful than his last rom-com flop. Back to Candace Owens, though, because she's the real highlight of this mess. Candace revealed how she found out about Blake's sneaky subpoena. And shocker, it wasn't from some official legal process. It was TMZ, of course, the celebrity gossip machine that pretends to be journalism, but operates more like a reality TV producer with a caffeine addiction.
Hilton, Owens, and Senior have all used their sizable digital platforms to discuss case developments, and the trio's commentary has largely hated on Blake's claims while propping up Baldoni's side.
At exactly 2:11 p.m. Eastern, TMZ emails Candace's PR team asking for comment on a subpoena she hadn't even received yet. Imagine that. Finding out you're allegedly part of a legal case not from the courts, but from the same outlet that covers Kardashian baby names, like they're breaking news.
Reaching out to see if Ms. Owens has any comment on being subpoenaed in the lively Baldoni case. Thank you for your time.
Candace's team, naturally, clapped back within 10 minutes, exposing the setup for what it was. A pre-planned PR stunt by Blake's team, probably orchestrated between sips of green juice and nervous text chains with Ryan.
Mitchell wrote back within 10 minutes and wrote to him, "Hi Ryan, thank you. Can you send a copy of the subpoena to us? Candace has not been served. We cannot comment if we have not seen what she will be served."
But the real punchline? 6 minutes later, just 6. TMZ publishes their hit piece, complete with the dramatic framing, false accusations, and Candace's face plastered everywhere as if she's leading some anti-Blake Lively revolution. Because sure, that's how real journalism works. They definitely wrote, edited, fact-checked, and published a whole article in 6 minutes. Totally believable, right?
Candace has not been served. We cannot comment if we have not seen what she will be served. Obviously, somebody gave this, and by somebody, I mean clearly this is a Leslie Sloan, Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds PR strategy. I've been telling you for a long time.
Candace called it exactly what it is. Fake, staged, and sloppy. Just like Blake's lawsuit. TMZ's little performance here is proof that Hollywood's elite will use any tool they can to control narratives, even if it means turning celebrity gossip blogs into legal mouthpieces. And who's sitting right in the middle of that? Ryan Reynolds, the human embodiment of stale Twitter jokes and overhyped gin commercials, pulling the strings while pretending to be oblivious.
And we're kind of sickened by the way that you bullied Justin Baldoni. We read it and we feel passionate about this case, and we're teaming up in the way that every parent and mother and woman and child that has been following this just wants to see justice brought to Justin Baldoni.
What makes this even better is how badly the smear campaign theory falls apart under basic logic. Blake claims the internet turned against her in some grand conspiracy. But let's be honest, the internet's been roasting her and Ryan for months, purely because their curated, picture-perfect image is faker than Ryan's skincare routine ads. No elaborate plot needed. Just good old-fashioned public opinion catching up with entitled celebrities. The desperation is showing on every level. Blake's PR team leaks a subpoena to TMZ before it's even delivered. They scramble to push a false narrative through headlines faster than Ryan can cash another Netflix check. And through it all, Candace Owens exposes every sloppy, staged, insecure move they make.
So first and foremost, right off the bat, you should know what they're saying is stupid. They're putting in this piece, Popcorned Planet and Candace have been covering this lawsuit, and they have not been favorable to Blake Lively. Okay, so?
Hollywood loves to pretend it's untouchable. But Blake and Ryan's empire? It's cracking. Between paranoid lawsuits about hair products, staged media leaks, and Ryan Reynolds clinging to his Deadpool persona like it's the last lifeline of his personality, the whole thing is unraveling beautifully. And honestly, watching Candace take the wrecking ball to their little castle of staged perfection is exactly the chaos we deserve right now. Blake Lively's fairy tale just keeps falling apart, and it's honestly more satisfying than watching Ryan Reynolds flop through another midlife crisis Deadpool promo. Because when Candace Owens decided to subpoena herself live, Blake's little smear campaign fantasy imploded on the spot. And the receipts? Devastating.
Now, I've received my subpoena from Blake Lively today. I'll tell you what is in it, because in my opinion, she's kind of admitting that she cannot prove that there was a smear campaign.
First of all, Candace Owens literally aired her own messages in front of millions. That's how confident she is that Blake's conspiracy theory is straight up garbage. The only mention Candace ever made about Blake before all this legal circus? A message from way back in 2019 with a hard eyes emoji over Blake's engagement ring. Yes, a hard eyes emoji. That's the entire evidence Blake's clinging to like it's some criminal smoking gun. Imagine being so obsessed with your own fame that you twist a compliment from 5 years ago into proof of a smear campaign.
They're hiding something. Something must be hidden, because they still believe that the public is still stupid to comprehend what's happening here. This is effectively a PR strategy. Of course, we are going to say, we're not giving up all the people that gave us information. She knows that I have a source.
And here's the thing. Between 2019 and August 2024, Candace literally never mentioned Blake. Zero. Nothing. Nada. So, unless Candace was conspiring in total silence, Blake's idea of a years-long plot is as fake as Ryan Reynolds pretending he's relatable on Twitter. When Candace finally did mention Blake, it wasn't some shady, orchestrated hit piece. It was a single 5-minute news segment in August 2024 about Blake acting like a condescending nightmare toward journalist Kirsten Flaw. And guess what? That wasn't some deep state smear campaign. It was Blake's own viral interview making her look bad. When you treat reporters like garbage on camera, no one needs to sabotage you. You're your own worst enemy.
So what are you trying to prove here? If there's a smear campaign happening against you now? Yeah, we all read your words. We read your messages, we read your Khaleesi Dragons, and we're kind of sickened by the way that you bullied Justin Baldoni.
Let's talk about how Blake's entire legal strategy is unraveling faster than Ryan's last PR stunt. Her team demands emails, messages, and tip-offs from May 1st, 2024 onward. Yes, onward. Meaning she wants evidence from after the supposed smear campaign already happened. Make that make sense. You can't claim you were destroyed by an internet conspiracy, then ask for proof from after your brand supposedly crashed and burned. That's not how reality works, Blake. But then again, neither you nor your husband have been grounded in reality for a long time.
I will abide by your subpoena as it pertains to any time before you filed your lawsuit, but you are not getting access to 10,000 emails for your fishing expedition so you can find out who leaked to me about Scott Swift. That's ridiculous.
Candace immediately called it what it is. A fishing expedition, plain and simple. It's not about justice. It's about intimidation. Blake's demanding access to over 10,000 emails, many of which include anonymous tip-offs from regular people who saw through the Hollywood facade. That's violating every basic rule of journalist source protection. But of course, Blake doesn't care. When your image is tanking and your overpaid PR team's in meltdown mode, you'll do anything to control the narrative. But here's the kicker. Candace isn't backing down. She's willing to comply with requests for anything dated before Blake filed her lawsuit. After that, Blake's not getting a single source, a single tip, not one word from the flood of information people sent in once they realized Hollywood royalty isn't so squeaky clean. You'd think Blake would have learned how journalism works, but maybe she's too busy obsessing over Reddit threads about her hair products to figure that part out.
Feminists are mean. It's just something I've noticed. These modern feminists are mean to other women. So I covered it, 5 minutes of all of 2024, and she thinks that I was part of some inside baseball smear campaign against her. I mean, this is wacky. This is totally wacky.
Now, let's talk about the greasy PR machine fueling this dumpster fire. Ryan Reynolds and TMZ. Because if anyone thought Ryan wasn't involved, They clearly haven't been paying attention. TMZ's reporting reads like it was written by Blake's assistant after 6 espressos and a nervous breakdown. Their hit pieces perfectly mirror Blake's talking points, down to the wild theories about some shadowy anti-Blake alliance plotting world domination. Candace roasted that narrative to ashes, by the way, calling out TMZ as nothing more than a mouthpiece for overpaid publicists. And she's right. They framed her as some villain in a coordinated smear campaign, fueled by pure fanfiction. Meanwhile, Blake and Ryan, sitting on a combined fortune of over $400 million, are melting down like insecure influencers panicking over mean Reddit comments. You can buy designer gowns, private jets, even Ryan's gin company, but apparently, you can't buy common sense. Blake's dragging innocent people into this mess too. YouTuber Andy Senior from Popcorn Planet got pulled into the drama, even though there's zero proof connecting him to Baldoni or Candace. But logic left the building the moment Blake decided that internet criticism equals criminal conspiracy. It's like watching rich, fragile celebrities play detective while their carefully curated image disintegrates in real time. The desperation is real. Blake's entire reputation, the polished Instagram aesthetic, the Vogue-approved power couple image, it's cracking. You can hear it in every TMZ leak, every ridiculous subpoena demand, every panicked interview where Blake tries to convince the world she's some helpless victim instead of an overhyped actress who thought the internet would worship her forever. Meanwhile, Ryan Reynolds, the self-proclaimed king of witty Twitter posts, is hiding behind the scenes, letting his PR team do the dirty work. The same guy who made a career out of pretending to be the cool, down-to-earth dad is now pulling strings like a second-rate Hollywood puppet master. It's genuinely tragic, watching him fall from Deadpool to desperate damage control specialist for Blake's spiraling brand. What's even funnier is how exposed the whole operation has become. Candace's live subpoena reveal shredded every ounce of Blake's narrative. The non-existent smear campaign, the alleged secret coordination, it's all unraveling because the facts refuse to line up with the fiction. The only thing orchestrated here is Blake and Ryan's pathetic attempt to weaponize the media and silence criticism. The irony? Blake's actions are doing more damage to her image than any Reddit post, YouTube video, or Twitter comment ever could. The more she tries to control the story, the more the cracks show. The more subpoenas she sends, the more ridiculous she looks. And Ryan, clinging to his Deadpool shtick like it's the last joke in his playbook, can't save her from the collapse. This isn't a smear campaign, it's karma, and it's long overdue. Because when you treat people like pawns, when you use your fame to bully, manipulate, and silence, eventually the curtain gets pulled back. Blake Lively's fragile empire is crumbling, and all the TMZ headlines and overpriced PR consultants in the world won't stitch it back together. While Blake Lively's entire Hollywood fantasy melts faster than Ryan Reynolds' Botox, the sideshow keeps growing. Because right when Blake thought she could control the headlines with subpoenas and TMZ fluff pieces, French President Macron slid into Candace Owens' legal inbox with yet another threatening letter. You can't make this up. Imagine thinking you're intimidating Candace with empty words while Blake's public image collapses in real time. But this isn't just some isolated celebrity tantrum, it's global now. Macron's wife, Brigitte, is knee-deep in her own scandal, thanks to Candace's investigations exposing the truth that nobody in elite circles wants to admit. The gender questions around Brigitte Macron? Same cover-up playbook, same fragile PR tactics, same rich, delusional people thinking they can control the narrative by bullying the press. And Meghan Markle? She couldn't resist inserting herself into this circus of staged victimhood. While Blake's busy sending subpoenas about Reddit posts, Meghan's out here filming herself reading bedtime stories like some fake relatable mom of the year. Imagine having millions, staff at your disposal, nannies everywhere, and still needing to record a video so your husband can press play while the kids fall asleep. Newsflash, Meghan. If your 3-year-old needs a curated video of you reading Green Eggs and Ham, maybe you're missing the point of parenting entirely. Candace connected every dot. Megan, Blake, Brigitte, they're the same elitist clique, insulated by fame, obsessed with image, and allergic to accountability. But here's the plot twist. The internet's not buying it anymore. When real journalists show up, when actual critical thinkers tune in, the whole house of cards comes crashing down. Look at Blake's so-called smear campaign lie. The moment Brian Friedman, Justin Baldoni's lawyer, dropped those bombshell receipts exposing Blake's bullying and behind-the-scenes antics, public opinion turned against her organically. No conspiracy needed, no hidden cabal of YouTubers, just facts. Facts that showed Blake wasn't the polished feminist goddess her team paid Vogue to portray. She was the one pulling strings, trashing reputations, and now scrambling to play the helpless victim when her own mask slipped.
Like the women that say that they are feminists and that they love women actually treat other women like crap. And Blake Lively is known to say, I'm a feminist. She's using that as an argument in this lawsuit. And she treated this journalist like absolute crap.
And Candace? She shut that lie down with receipts. Blake wants to talk coordinated smear? Let's talk whistleblowers like Scott Swift. Yes, Taylor Swift's dad. Dropping tips because they're fed up with Blake and Ryan's fake empire. That's not a conspiracy. That's what happens when people close to you finally get tired of your nonsense and spill the tea. Blake's fantasy that Reddit users, YouTubers, and podcasters are part of some global anti-Blake cabal? It's laughable. As laughable as Ryan Reynolds thinking he's a marketing genius while his wife's legal strategy spirals into a public joke. Blake's entire legal fishing expedition is one long obsession with narrative control. She's not looking for justice. She's looking for damage control. That's why her subpoenas bizarrely demand texts about hair products, marriage scandals, Reddit posts, and literally anything that makes her look bad. How fragile do you have to be to subpoena people over internet gossip about your shampoo line? Only Blake Lively and her PR-fueled ego could be this unhinged.
On December 20th of 2024, it would follow that if you're going to subpoena people, you're going to need messages that took place before you filed the lawsuit saying that it already happened. But look what they're doing here.
And the more she pushes, the more ridiculous it looks. Her meltdown has done more to destroy her reputation than any YouTuber ever could. She sent subpoenas over hair product memes, people. That's where we're at. Meanwhile, Candace Owens stands untouched, armed with facts, timeline receipts, and the most brutal defense tool of all, common sense. Because Blake Lively's latest moves have backfired so spectacularly, even TMZ can't spin it into a win. Her empire of staged Instagram perfection, red carpet rehearsals, and forced power couple selfies with Ryan is cracking wide open. The Hollywood fairy tale? Exposed as nothing more than insecure, desperate spin from two celebrities who can't handle criticism. Especially Ryan Reynolds, who's been hiding behind Deadpool snark and aviation gin commercials while his wife's legal team burns their credibility to the ground. And Candace keeps reminding everyone, there is no secret alliance, no coordinated army of anti-Blake trolls lurking in dark corners of the internet. There's just passionate reporting, real audiences sick of celebrity hypocrisy, and a growing refusal to let Hollywood elites weaponize their wealth, their lawyers, and their PR agencies to shut down uncomfortable truths. Blake's next legal move? Let's not kid ourselves. It'll be another staged leak. Another TMZ exclusive with anonymous sources blaming everyone but Blake for the mess she created. But the internet's already laughing. The receipts are out. The facade's broken. Blake and Ryan's carefully crafted image of invincible, adored celebrities, it's in shambles, and the world's enjoying every second of the downfall. Blake Lively seriously underestimated how fast her fake PR machine could crumble when real receipts hit the internet. She thought tossing subpoenas around like confetti would make people forget how ridiculous her own behavior's been. But the problem is, you can't sell this helpless bullied victim story when your entire Hollywood brand is built on control, privilege, and carefully staged magazine covers. Let's be real. Blake and Ryan have spent years manufacturing this image of the perfect power couple. The hand-picked interviews, the cheesy Instagram captions, the pretend relatable jokes about their marriage, all designed to convince the world they're untouched by Hollywood chaos. But the second real pressure hit, the cracks started showing. Suddenly, Blake's spiraling, Ryan's missing from the front lines, and TMZ's being used as their personal PR puppet to spin disaster control. And Ryan Reynolds? It's actually comical watching him stay quiet while hiding behind his failing aviation gin ads like that's going to save him. This is the same guy who clowns around on Twitter, roasting celebrities for laughs, yet the moment his wife's hypocrisy explodes, he vanishes faster than Deadpool's box office credibility. Maybe he's busy rehearsing another cringe campaign for one of his mediocre businesses. But watching him sit silent while Blake fumbles every legal move is peak coward energy. Meanwhile, Blake keeps proving how obsessed she is with silencing criticism. From demanding emails about her shampoo to subpoenaing people over Reddit gossip, she's made it crystal clear this isn't about justice. It's about silencing anyone who questions her carefully curated, influencer-level fairy tale. She's basically turned her legal team into a glorified PR cleanup crew, trying to patch the damage from her own bad behavior. And the most embarrassing part? The internet's not buying any of it. Every staged TMZ leak, every fake headline, every exaggerated narrative just makes her look more desperate. Instead of controlling the story, Blake's become the story, and it's unraveling fast. Her brand, her lawsuit, her fantasy image, it's collapsing under the weight of her own arrogance, and the public is watching every second of the fallout. Blake's empire is cracking fast, stay tuned, because the next staged meltdown is probably already leaking. Hit that subscribe button for all the chaos.